He was born into a family worth billions, but after the nurse finished giving him a bath, she discovered he had no breath. The nurse feared the wealthy family would blame him, so he quickly ran to call the doctor. But the phone was occupied by the family's butler. The nurse had no choice but to tell him the truth. He quickly dialed the number, but the butler hung up the phone. It turned out his wife had just given birth to a son. To repay the wealthy family, he was willing to switch his own son for the dead baby. Before the nurse could agree, he rushed to the hospital room, carrying his own son, and swapped the two babies. Just as they were leaving the hospital room, accompanied by a thunderstorm, the dead baby in his arms suddenly began crying. The nurse, seeing this, rushed to return the baby, but the butler snatched the baby away, warning the nurse not to ruin his plan. It turned out the reason he swapped the babies wasn't to repay the wealthy family, but to give his own child a life of wealth. He didn't want to miss such a great opportunity. The nurse was so distressed. She tried to take the baby back, but she was knocked down by the butler, falling down the stairs and becoming a vegetable. From that day on, the two children began very different lives. The wealthy family named their son Fugue. The butler named his son Mark. In the following years, the butler used his job to stay close to his biological son. When he learned his son scored 9 in math, he helped change it to 99, so his biological son would receive the love of the wealthy family. But when he got home and heard his son scored 98, the butler not only didn't praise him, but mocked him, saying no matter how well poor children perform, it doesn't matter. In his eyes, Mark was a failure from birth. But 20 years later, Mark not only grew up handsome, but also got into the best university in the country. Little did he know the butler secretly arranged for him to be expelled. When he learned his biological son was coming back from studying in America, he made Mark travel far to buy pumpkins, just because he heard pumpkins could drive away bad luck. When Mark arrived at the mansion, he suddenly felt that the scene in front of him was very familiar.